Hello everyone, welcome back to Durbanites FPL. It's Game Week 10 review, Game Week 11 preview coming to you from Mumbai this week. Let's have a look at the table. So up at the top, Fantasies there for the third week now, 2 weeks in a row at the top. Alo Boys is back in contention, and look at Suad up at number 3. It's all very close. Still the usual suspects on the first page. Dora the scorer making a move up now into 8th space. We are the champions. There they are, sitting on the second page as well. Fatih FC is hanging down there as well. Iron Wall making a move up in the table. Lots of changes down at the bottom end of the table as they start moving around. But Umar is still busy fighting himself down there at the bottom. Let's look at what the player selections tell us. So Erling Haaland is still the king at the top. 85% of managers have him in the team, followed closely by Anton Semenyo at 80%. Gabriel Magalhaes now joins from Arsenal. There 60% of managers have him in their defense, and 55% going with Mickey van der Ven. The differentiators this week coming out from midfield, Diego Gomez from Brighton coming up one owner, unfortunately had him on the bench. Casemiro coming in there as well, one owner was on the field. Declan Rice coming with great points, 3 owners scoring there. Moises Caicedo with 4 owners. Ryan Gravenberch, 5 out of 10 managers have him on their team. And Mark Gahey with 7 out of 10 managers ownership, all coming in with double digits this week. So what does that do with the hits and misses? Look at those hits. Big defensive points there for Fatih, 40 plus points at the back, followed by the Iron Wall with the Suwa, the Squish, and Ami, and the Stone Wall with a whole host of people, including Squish again. She's so good at defense. Looking at the super strikers, thanks to Erling Haaland, a lot of them moving forward, including myself, into the super striker points, and then 30 points on the strikers for Suad, Hassan, Azra, Mohamed Sadiq, and Umar. Really good. Yet another hot bench this week, 17 plus points for Fatih, Squish, Mohamed Amin, Zai, Ansu, and Umar. 17 plus points going up to about 21. Lots of points sitting on those benches. Let's have a look now quickly at the best possible selection from our sides. Robert Sanchez gets the number 1 jersey, putting David Raya on the bench because of cost. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is on the lineup, as is Mark Gahey and Gabriel Magalhaes. But this week is dominated by the midfielders. Gomez getting the captaincy armband after the great display. Moises Caicedo, Declan Rice, Ryan Gravenberch, and Antonio Casemiro. And up front, Erling Haaland doing well again, and João Pedro. And then on the bench with Raya is Mateta, Chaloba, and Kukurea. None of them could get onto the field this week. Now, this team would have got you 135 points, 164 including the bench boost, at a total cost of 96.6. So, if you're looking for a good team, here's some options for you. So, let's look at the matchups for the weeks ahead. Looking at that, we can see that Bournemouth in for a bit of a rough run against a rejuvenated Aston Villa, as well as Sunderland. In there, they've got a few games that look a bit good. Liverpool going up against City this week, and vice versa, so it's going to be a bit tough. Let's see if their bounce is complete. Then you've got Spurs heading into some tricky matches against Manchester United and Arsenal, and then Sunderland for all the good work they've done for Arsenal this week, and then going into Fulham, Bournemouth, Liverpool, and City. Quite a tough time for the Sunderland team. Looking at our preferences, Arsenal still with a good clear run, some tricky fixtures there, but they're looking solid. Then you've got Aston Villa, who are on the bounce back as well, going up against a few beatable teams. Brighton, after their fantastic performance last week, great chance to pull some results coming up in the next 4 or 5 weeks. Chelsea still with fantastic fixtures, and though they run into Arsenal and Bournemouth and Crystal Palace as well. So you're looking at Mateta, Liam Delap, who's come back into the fray as well now. And then other than that, you can really take your pick of Forest, Everton, etc. A few winnable games here for sure. Now, diving into our choices, you can see Alisson still out and a few defenders out as well. In terms of the picks, Raya's a good solid six there for Arsenal. Looking at Martinez for Aston Villa, Sanchez for Chelsea, and Henderson for Crystal Palace as our picks. Chaluba and Kukurea, the duo back at Chelsea. Van de Ven, who's having an insane amount of form right now for Spurs. Gabriel and Timber from Arsenal are definitely the top two this season. Gehi, Lacroix from Crystal Palace, Matson and Cash from Aston Villa, who are leading that bounce back, and Van Heck and De Keeper from Brighton and Hove Albion. For the midfield, we're looking at a lot of injuries for Arsenal, but they have a solid squad this year. Looking at the Spurs, also some issues there going into this tricky match against United. Chelsea still missing Cole Palmer, and Rodri still a bit doubtful for Manchester City. So there's a couple of injuries there as well for Everton and Newcastle. Looking at the choices, guys, we're looking at Salah for Liverpool because he has been doing well in the last couple of weeks, picking up a few goals. For Manchester City, Tijani Ryan is now moved off our list because he's blanked once too many times. Ryan Cherki is a man on form. He's doing fantastically well. Phil Foden's there for Manchester City as well. Antoine Semenyo, based on his season, stays in. Kudus is slightly doubtful, but he's the most creative player for Spurs at this moment in time. Saka and Rice for Arsenal are a dynamic duo. Estevao and Neto for Chelsea, covering up the Cole Palmer gap. Ismail Assar at Crystal Palace has really stepped into the role left by Eberechi Eze. Jorginho Rutter and Jakub Minte at Brighton and Hove Albion, and of course Morgan Rogers and Daniel Marlin. Special call out for Daniel Marlin because he has the opportunity to work as a striker in the setup from Unai Emery. Now, looking at the forwards as well, Arsenal in some trouble here. Two long-term injuries to forwards, and Victor Gyökeres is now a doubt. Then you've got Johan Risa still out for Newcastle, as is Dom Solanke. Chris Wood doubtful for Nottingham Forest. Isak suffering with a groin injury for Liverpool, and Eddie Nketiah still out for Crystal Palace. Haaland is still the top pick, banging in the goals. Not sure how it will work against Liverpool this week, but he is definitely one of the on-form players. Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa is one of the few strikers that are available to them if Daniel Marlin is not used out of position. Then you've got Victor Gyökeres with that run that Arsenal have. Danny Welbeck put it really well and ready for Brighton of Albion. Raul Jimenez back at Fulham, and he has Rodrigo Muniz as a strike partner available as well. Jean-Philippe Mateta with the fixtures that Crystal Palace have coming ahead, and his current run of form is a great pick, as is Liam Delap, looking to come back after a very poor suspension. He's ready to start being unleashed. Will he unseat João Pedro? Only this week will tell. Let's see whether he can get Chelsea back on track. So that's what we have for this week, guys. A very quick update due to travel. Good luck with your choices.